I told my family about the text my mom's boyfriend sent her, and now she's calling all of us the problem. I never thought one text message could split my entire family down the middle, but here we are. I'm 19, in college, and apparently the accidental whistleblower in a situation way bigger than I ever meant to start. But the truth is, the roots of this mess go way back, years before that text ever flashed across my mom's phone. My parents split when I was 6. My dad remarried pretty quickly, but my mom stayed single most of my childhood, or at least that's what I thought. Turns out, according to my older sister, she wasn't really alone. She was just gone a lot. My sister handled dinners, homework, and bedtime for me and our younger brother, while my mom drifted in and out, chasing men and coming home drunk more often than I ever realized. I grew up thinking she was a superhero doing everything for us. My sister saw a completely different version. So fast forward to this year. Mom has been with this guy on and off for 6 years apparently. I didn't even realize it was that long. My sister hates him, like viscerally hates him. And now I get why she noticed everything. She was the one covering for my mom back then. But I kept my distance. If mom looked happy, that was enough for me. Then on July 4th, everything changed. We were sitting on the couch when her phone started blowing up. She kept flipping it face down, picking it back up, looking stressed. When I asked what was wrong, she hesitated, then read me some of the messages. Her boyfriend had been drinking at his ex-wife's house, supposedly to talk about their twin daughters. His texts were angry, messy, and then came the one she said she couldn't read out loud. I should have just dropped it, but I didn't. I asked again. She made me promise not to tell my sister. Then she read it. It was the kind of thing that makes the room feel smaller, like the air changes. I couldn't unhear it, and all I could think was, if that's what he says about someone else when he's drunk, what happens when he's mad at my mom? I didn't plan to tell anyone, not at first, but life has a way of pushing you past the line you swore you wouldn't cross. After that July text, I kept telling myself I was overreacting. I was leaving for college soon, mom seemed calm, and she clearly wasn't ready to confront anything. So I shoved the whole moment into a mental storage box labeled, "Don't touch this unless you have to." I wish I'd opened it earlier. Going off to college made everything clearer in a way I didn't expect. I thought distance would make my relationship with mom feel steadier, maybe even healthier. Instead, it felt like she just disconnected. She never called first, not once. Weeks passed, and if I didn't pick up the phone and dial her, we wouldn't talk at all. When we did, the conversations felt clipped, like she was half listening while rushing to get off. I didn't know if I'd done something wrong or if someone else had quietly taken my place. Her boyfriend, Rick, was still around during all of this, though I didn't realize how much. I only learned later that while I was struggling with homesickness, midterms, and the weird emotional crash that comes with starting college, my mom was at his place nearly every night. Meanwhile, I was telling myself, she's just busy. She's adjusting too. But a part of me kept feeling this hollow little ache. I didn't want to examine. Then Thanksgiving break came. I flew home on a Friday, sick, tired, and honestly excited to see her. She picked me up, bought groceries, dropped me off, and within minutes said she was heading out again. I joked, "You don't even care that I'm home," but it wasn't really a joke. She shrugged and said, "Well, you're grown, and you're sick." She had never once in my life called me grown. It felt like she was trying on a line someone else had fed her. That week, she spent 2 more nights away with him. By Saturday, our belated Thanksgiving, I woke to the sound of her crying behind her bedroom door. When she finally told me she'd broken up with him, she looked exhausted but relieved. She talked about manipulation, guilt trips, how he'd made her feel like wanting to see her own family was weird. She said she felt lighter. She swore it was over. And for the first time in months, I believed her. For a week, I let myself believe things were finally turning around. Mom seemed clearer, grounded in a way I hadn't seen in years. She talked openly with our family at Thanksgiving, telling them it was done, that she finally understood how unhealthy things had become. My sister and I exchanged this tiny look across the table, a mix of relief and cautious hope. It felt like maybe we were getting our mom back. Then I went back to campus for finals, and everything unraveled faster than I could process. It started with a screenshot from my sister, a Facebook post. Mom had commented something cheerful and light, and right underneath it was his name, Rick, except this time he wasn't the ex. They were openly flirting back and forth, like the breakup conversation had never happened. Like the tears in her bedroom and all the manipulation she described were just reset. I stared at the screenshot for a long time before I replied. My stomach felt heavy. I didn't want to jump to conclusions. Maybe she was being polite. Maybe he commented first and she didn't want to start drama publicly. But my sister didn't hesitate. She called me immediately and said, "She's back with him." I'm telling you, she is. That's when she told me everything she'd been holding back. About the page on Are We Dating the Same Guy? About the women warning others about his ego, his anger, his patterns. About the revenge incident. How he had shared a private video of an ex with her new boyfriend, causing legal trouble that only disappeared when the charges were dropped. My mom had told her that part, almost casually, like it wasn't a red flag the size of a billboard. Listening to my sister felt like someone was tightening a rope around my ribcage. It wasn't that I suddenly hated Rick, it was that I finally understood the shape of what my mom was walking into, or choosing to walk back into. My sister asked if she could tell our grandparents about the July text. I hesitated for maybe 3 seconds before I said yes. I had told her about it months before, and at the time I thought Mom and Rick were done for good. Keeping that secret didn't feel like protecting anyone anymore. Turns out it was the the match that lit everything. My sister didn't waste any time. She called our grandmother that same afternoon and told her everything: the breakup, the sudden reunion, the disturbing online posts about him, and finally, the July text I had held onto for months. I could hear the shock in my grandma's voice even through the phone speaker. She and my grandpa are soft-spoken people, the kind who avoid drama unless they absolutely can't. But when they heard that text, their silence shifted. My grandpa, who rarely inserts himself into anything emotional, said he wanted to talk to my mom face-to-face. He texted her that evening asking if they could meet. Her response? A flat-out refusal, followed by a message so sharp and defensive it didn't even sound like her. She accused them of meddling, said her relationship was none of their business, told them they were overreacting. Then she sent a group message to my grandparents and my aunt telling them, basically, to pound sand. The tone was cold, final, angry, in a way that didn't match the situation unless someone else was feeding her that narrative. Right after that, she texted me like nothing happened. Hey kiddo, what's your class schedule look like? As if the explosion in the family group chat hadn't just happened. I answered, trying to stay neutral, and she said she wanted to call after work. I didn't want to take that call alone, not with how volatile things felt. So I drove to my aunt and uncle's house. They didn't ask questions, they just made space for me. When mom called, her voice was calm, too calm. She asked how I felt about her getting back with Rick. I tried to let her speak first, and she launched into this explanation about the July text. She said it wasn't fair for her to tell me something that upsetting, then expect me to keep it buried. She said she'd left out important context, namely, that the next day Rick had been horrified by what he wrote, blamed it on drinking, said he didn't remember. She framed it like the mistake was hers, not his. When it was my turn, I told her everything. The fear that text put in me, the way she'd been distant for months, her constant cancellations, the manipulation she herself said she felt. She listened quietly, then said, well, I've seen him drunk and he's never been violent toward me, as if that settled anything. After she said that, he's never been violent toward me, I felt something inside me just sink, not break exactly, more like deflate, because I knew that line. I'd heard friends say it about guys who chipped away at them emotionally. I'd read it in posts from women who ignored every early warning sign until things got impossible to hide. It wasn't reassurance. It was a shield she was holding for him. She ended the call with, thanks for being honest and vulnerable. I love you. Like we just finished a gentle heart-to-heart instead of dancing around the edges of something dangerous. I sat there in that spare bedroom at my aunt's house, staring at the floor, trying to make sense of how she could excuse everything so easily. While I was absorbing the conversation, my sister texted me. Mom had called her too. Same tone, same vague apology, same attempt to smooth things over without addressing anything directly. Then our phones buzzed again, a copy and paste message from mom to both of us, saying she was sorry we felt hurt, that actions speak louder than words, and that she and Rick were working through things. The way it was worded felt rehearsed, almost coached. She even added a parenthetical note to my sister. I sent your sister something similar, so don't be surprised if you compare messages. It was like she knew we would compare notes because she knew none of it sounded right on its own. I didn't respond. I couldn't. Finals were days away, and my mind was already splintered between wanting to protect my mom, wanting space from her, and wanting to scream into a pillow until the tension dissolved. I'd already been considering transferring back home for financial reasons, maybe studying abroad again later, but now the thought of moving back felt heavy in a new way. How could I return to a home where every conversation felt weaponized, where any attempt to be honest could turn into accusations of betrayal? Meanwhile, my grandparents and aunt were devastated. They couldn't understand how someone could convince my mom to turn her back on the very people who had supported her through everything. It was like she was slipping into a version of herself that didn't quite belong to her anymore, and I didn't know how to pull her out. In the days that followed, everything felt strangely quiet, not peaceful, just paused, like everyone was holding their breath, waiting for someone else to make the next move. My grandparents didn't reach out to her again. My aunt stopped trying to reason with her. My sister and I exchanged messages every few hours, checking in on each other, trying not to spiral. And my mom, she acted like nothing was wrong. I kept replaying everything in my head. The July text, the breakup, the sudden reunion, the anger at our family, the excuses she made on that phone call. And underneath it all was this gnawing question. Had I made everything worse? I didn't want to believe that telling the truth could hurt someone, but watching how defensive she became, how quickly she pushed all of us away to pull him closer, it was hard not to doubt myself. At the same time, I knew something else. Silence wasn't helping her either. Keeping secrets hadn't protected her. Ignoring red flags hadn't protected her. Pretending Rick was harmless definitely wasn't protecting her. So why was she fighting so hard to defend him? The answer came slowly, through late-night conversations with my sister and long walks around campus when I couldn't focus on studying. People don't cling to unhealthy relationships relationships because they're blind. They cling because the alternative, starting over, facing old wounds, admitting mistakes, feels even scarier. My mom wasn't choosing him instead of us. She was choosing the version of herself she didn't want to confront. Finals ended, and as I packed my suitcase to go home for winter break, I realized something important. I couldn't control her choices. I couldn't force her to leave him or recognize the danger signs. I couldn't shield her from consequences she refused to see. But I also didn't have to set myself on fire trying to keep her warm. When I finally responded to her message, I kept it simple. I told her I loved her. I told her I needed space. And I told her that no matter what, I hoped she chose people who valued her safety, her peace, and her family. I don't know what will happen next. Whether she'll stay with him, whether she'll drift back toward us, whether things will get worse before they get better. But I do know this. Telling the truth didn't make me the villain. It made me the daughter who refused to stay quiet while someone she loved walked into the dark.